Hello, it's slightly less ill Devin back with the Saga campaign Abridged. In the previous part, we stormed into Honshu, defeating the Hiroshima, the Suwano, and the Iwakuni without any trouble really. Then the Chosu behind us looked at us funny, so we killed them as well. And after that I did a big naval invasion of Kyushu. We haven't got that far with this, but we're now going to briefly change topic before we carry on, because back in our home territory of Nagasaki, there was a rebellion and they have a large advantage against Nagasaki port here. However, we do have the port defences to use. I thought it was probably worth trying to hold them off. Plus, I had in mind something we'd seen work earlier, that being to grab a bunch of Yari Ronin and have them just run off across the map, because in the past this caused the enemy to get very distracted and split a lot of their army off from the attack. Plus, while the enemy are still at a distance, our gunners will get some easier kills. Here at the southern approach, we're just going to stand here with some spears. They'll have more spears, but we'll have infinite morale, which gives us quite a big advantage in a melee taking place inside the castle. And yes, you can see the Yari Ronin plan starts to work. Many enemy units, most of them here actually, turn off to chase the Yari Ronin, so it's going to be pretty easy for us to hold the walls against what's attacking us for now. Instead of just running infinitely, I turned around to face the spear levy crowd on this hill, just to see how long that would last. Meanwhile, the stuff attacking the castle's already in trouble. These guys are routing away, and you can see in the background there, the other units attacking the southern wall are also starting to rout. Pretty much, this proved to be very easy. It just came down to what these Yari Ronin were going to do with the rest of the enemy's army. And the answer is kill them. This actually went much better than expected. By the time we've lost 10 men, we've killed 150 enemies. I'm sure the stat differential isn't enough to do that, so it must be the fact we're on a hill. The game doesn't say what being on a hill does, but maybe it does a lot, and maybe this mod makes it do more than usual, because I don't remember it being that effective. But anyway, now we can cluster everything on this corner since the other directions are cleared up. Here's where we're getting to the point when the Yari Ronin are going to be broken. But they've done a pretty good job. They've killed more like 250 enemies now, so these spear levy are in trouble, and the balance bar has evened out. Always a bad thing for an attacking force. We're ready for them over here. I need to run my melee troops to get them into position. But I guess I don't actually need to do that, because as it turns out, once what the enemy have left swarm the walls, they just rout upon contact, because they're so dead already. A few volleys finishes them off. So with that, we ended up not losing this place to rebels, and I had prepared last time to lose it to rebels. I was already sending troops back to deal with this. Now we don't have to deal with that, so that's nice, and instead my reserve 4th army will land to take part in the attacks here on Kyushu. This is an attack with 3 armies. The other army is currently garrisoning the place we took last time. Since the bounce bar was so good, I thought, well, we'll just take that auto-resolve. It's another case where the auto-resolve isn't that good, actually, and it kills a lot of our melee troops. I feel like auto-resolving castles in this mod seems to, just kill your melee troops. Everything else appears to be absolutely fine. That's okay, because melee troops are generally less valuable, but just a strange thing to note. So that's that. We've now taken the main settlement in the area, and the Oka clan are surely in big trouble. From here we can go north to attack Bungo Fields. Just a big garrison of pure trash, led by a general though. They go down to an auto-resolve, easy enough. They also had an army hanging around. We advance with 2 stacks to bring down this half stack. That's also going to be easy enough. From here we need to go to the west to reach the next Oka territory. Didn't know this at the time, but did some scouting with my agents to work out what's going on. Because of this whole each region is split into 3 regions thing, the minimap doesn't actually accurately tell you where the enemy's territory is, so you do need to check. In this case we're going for Higo over there. I'm going in the winter because the Oka are at war with the other clans on the island, and I didn't want to have the enemy take the castle before I got there. And as you can see, this ultimately is what happened, so that was a disappointment. The Satsuma go in for an attack. The best thing we can do is not help them, so they lose more men doing the attack. This also teleports us away, since the place fell to a faction we don't have military access with, preventing our winter attrition, which is kind. And after that, the Oka only had 1 region somewhere, so I just vassalized them when they asked for peace. And the war's over, so that was easy, wasn't it? We're now going to lose our vassal most likely in the near future. because while we vassalize them, they still remain at war with the Satsuma and Hirado to the north and south. Here's their one region, just some fields. So they're going to die, we won't get the advantages of having a vassal for long. And now I need to decide, should I just go and attack the Hirado, who have apparently attacked the Satsuma and taken Higo back off them? The other option would be to go south and attack the Satsuma, which is actually a better option, because if you conquer the island south to north in a northerly direction, you end your campaign closer to your next target, so it's going to take several turns less that way than if you'd conquered north to south and end up stuck in the corner of the map with all of your armies. But it's a moot point, because I ended up thinking let's go somewhere else. I mentioned this in the last part. I was planning on sailing off to do something in a more exotic location. I also noted we've actually almost won the campaign. I was checking this because I thought we might need to go and capture the victory regions, one of which is very far away. They're currently already being held by our side. That's a unique part of this campaign. You don't need to hold victory regions yourself. Even your allies don't need to hold them, just somebody on your side of the civil war needs to hold them. And there's some kind of imperial holdouts over there. I'm sure they won't last too long because the east side of the map is entirely shogunate, so we may still need to crusade over to take Edo to actually finish the campaign. Aside from that, we just have to take like 6 more places. That should be really easy. I think I have it on the short victory conditions because I didn't want this to last forever. But it's going to be too short if that is the case. Well, we'll see. We'll probably end up going way over the victory conditions, I expect. You might have spotted there, we grabbed an alliance with the Matsue, so now we have alliances on our eastern Honshu border, making that little pocket very secure. We're skipping ahead now to ages later, when I've moved all of our troops over to be in the middle of the map. My target is the Kii Peninsula here, controlled by the Wakayama clan. What I wanted to do was land here at Kii Fields, the most isolated place on the map I expect. It's really hard to get to, and unfortunately you can't land troops anywhere near it, it's all cliffs. So the nearest I can get to is Kii Port to the west, so I started going back. This sort of makes sense because I need to wait for my 3rd navy to show up with more troops. So we wait for that, but actually things aren't going to be quite so easy, as we'll see. I wanted to ally with one of the Wakayama's local enemies and join the war with them. This will not only give me an ally locally, but will avoid me being at war with the Kawana, the Wakayama's ally. This ultimately failed, so I just declared war on them, and we are going to be at war with their allies. We just can't see them right now. They're out somewhere in the middle in the background there. Here's where things got a bit harder than I thought, because the Kii Port has one of these fortified ports, and I didn't actually know this. You can't land troops near a fortified port. You need to bombard it first to take it out. I don't know how much bombardment that takes, and I didn't want to find out because while you sit here you take attrition to the return fire from the forts. Therefore, we're going to go even further away. The landing at Kii Fields plan is truly out the window. We're going to go north and find somewhere else to land. While I was doing that, we have a revolt back here at Bungo Port. It's the same issue we were facing at Nagasaki Port, where the allegiance to crime is on the rise. This place has a factory, and factory causes allegiance to anti-modernization and to crime, and that's ruining our allegiance to the Emperor and causing rebellions. In this case, it's the Oka clan trying to come back. All we can really do for now is grab some troops and defend against such rebellions. I do have an agent here who can be used to stop crime coming back once they're done converting the other provinces. After a couple of turns of landings, we've got everything together on the coast here to make this attack at Kawachi Port. Not much to do here, just an auto-resolve. Now we'll have to wait another turn to get all of our agents off the ships as well, and then we'll be fully landed at last. Here I had the option to make a vassal. I was kind of interested in this because this territory is going to be quite isolated compared to everything else if we hold it. But then I thought I do want to hold it so that we have somewhere to go back to if my march into the southern lands goes very poorly. We've now got to deal with those rebels back over here in Kyushu. The balance bar is pretty even, but I was worried because they had all of those katana kechi, who of course will cut our spear levy to pieces, and even our ability to fight to the death may not help out very much. But we actually got a really good map that's going to negate the enemy's advantage somewhat. They can only approach our fort on this really narrow front along these beaches, that means our 2 units of sharpshooters can be gunning away for the entire battle, and that will make things way easier. There was a unique occurrence in this battle. I'd never seen this before. They had some troops moving over from this other side, and our coastal guns are able to fire at them. These port maps sometimes have guns facing off towards the edge of the map, mainly just as a decoration I thought, but they actually have troops on them, and they can fire at things in their arc of fire. It just so happens these guns can just about snipe the corner of that enemy unit, or that group of units, as they walk towards the walls. Handy. Here you can see I was trying to do the Yari Ronin distraction that's worked well before. In this case they get intercepted on their route away from the castle by those Katanakachi, but those Katanakachi get shot down, so we are able to run away, and I'm going to go sit back there on a hill to try and reduce the pressure on our little front line. And here is the front line getting into the action. These spear mob will have precisely 0 chance against the Katanakachi, but they're just there to die because the Katanakachi are now standing in front of our sharpshooters. Looks like the wall guns are killing a few of them as well, probably killing our own side just as much. Since they are garrison units though, both of the units outside, they are necromanceable, therefore their casualties don't count. This is all fine, I assure you. So now we sit back and see what the result of this is. We just have to wait and see if we win. My distraction plan is still ongoing, and it actually went pretty well. Many enemy units followed the Yari Ronin away. Nearly half of the attacking group from this direction, including their general. So that's good. Looks like the spear mob have been expended, and now the Katanakashi will start climbing the wall, but they've taken big losses, and they're being slammed even more by those wall cannons as well. Once they start climbing in, we'll pull the sharpshooters back off the wall, and now we can deploy our not garrison melee units to hold the enemy off. And because they're going to have really low stamina after their climb, those Katanakachi will have all sorts of debuffs on them, and the spear levy are actually able to hold them off and grab kills, plus we didn't need to kill very many to rout them. Our other sacrificial unit seems to be holding on for quite a long time, buying us more time to grab more kills. The group attacking the west side of the castle has all routed before they climbed, by the way, so not much happened there. And back with our distraction fight, well, it's still going on, and like before, we're actually picking up a couple of 100 kills here. It's a really good trade. As you can see, I decided to use our ship guns to fire into this melee just to see what would happen, and it does look like we mainly hit the enemy there. It actually worked out pretty well. So that's going to turn this battle in our favour at this point, really. We're winning that fight over there somehow, and we're certainly winning this fight on the walls. Looks like this unit of sacrificial troops has actually survived. That wasn't part of the plan, but here they are. The enemy are starting to rout, and now they'll start coming back from routing and stuff, but they'll have no numbers, so we can just cut them down. Their general's nearly dead over here as well. Looks like a volley goes for him. That's going to turn him away. As you can imagine, we win from here, so we'll skip the rest of the fight. Looks like this rebellion has failed. We lost some stuff, but it'll just come back, and even the real units that took casualties don't really matter because they can just replenish and see if another rebellion happens there, or stay there to prevent a rebellion. Now it's time for a long walk. The only way for us to get to the next enemy territory is on this really forested, unroaded, circuitous path. So it's going to take us a whole bunch of turns to do anything, on top of the whole bunch of turns that already spent just trying to get any invasion going at all. We've wasted quite a lot of the campaign because of my desire to go and attack this place that was far away. It would have been much more efficient to just kill our direct neighbours, but sometimes it's fun to not do it in the most efficient way, I suppose. It was a little annoying occurrence at sea. There's an enemy ship coming towards our trade port. It's been getting closer every turn, and I finally was able to attack it from both sides here to take it down. However, unfortunately, it retreats, and it retreats in the opposite direction to the way I thought it might. It went through the unit that was attacking it. So this means, here we are in the next turn, or 2 turns later it might be, they sailed around and blockaded our port, and that completely screws our income, so I have to gradually catch up with the other ships and then we can take them down. But yes, we ended up losing a whole bunch of money, only for 1 turn, but pretty annoying, and it just made me realise that we are going to need to have stuff in this area on the sea, because even 1 ship can really screw us over. By the way, I've actually researched everything that I can research. Because we're only at level 2 development, I can't advance the tech tree anymore. I also haven't been making buildings because this mod's building economy is out of control. So that means we need to capture some territory that has modern buildings in it to unlock another modernization level, and then we can go and unlock exciting things like parrot guns for recruitment. Looks like there's another annoying ship on the way over there, going to try and deal with that in the background. We're skipping now to when we arrive at the next enemy territory. It's heavily defended, there's a full stack in the castle, and about half a stack's worth of troops on either side sitting around. So in this situation, obviously the best thing to do is besiege the castle and then push everything outside away. I attacked both groups, and while they both retreated, the one in the south retreated to a place that was actually still in range of the castle. I couldn't pursue it because I didn't have the movement this turn, but the balance bar was really good anyway, so I thought, well, that'll do, let's just take the castle. As it happens though, this is one of the lying balance bar. A shame, because that time I didn't even think twice about auto-resolving it, not suspecting it of being a lying one. But it was. We lost tons of stuff in that auto-resolve. It looks like melee troops are heavily favoured for doing castle attacks, and it killed virtually all of the melee troops, or maybe even all of the melee troops in all of my 3 armies. So that's inconvenient. They're easy to re-recruit, but not having all those spear levy around is annoying, because spear levy are the perfect things to leave behind after taking the castle, just to stop it rebelling, and this is going to slow us down even more. At least we can take this nearby key port. With 3 stacks we can leave full stacks behind, at least, to defend ourselves. So very quickly we move on to this point. We can send 2 armies to go and take it down. The balance bar is actually worse than in the previous fight, but the result's going to be a bit better. Although that said, it does again prioritise killing our melee units, or perhaps it's just old units because our matchlock Ronin die as well for some reason. Overall inconvenient. It is more fair, the Shogun 2 auto-resolves are broken, so them being not broken comes as a surprise because I'm playing as if they're still very exploitable, so inconvenient for us. And with those captures we have now reached the next development level, so we can start unlocking things. In particular, we can get the 2 all-important techs, logistics and modern tactics. That increases your movement range, your replenishment, and it gives you the ability to do Kneel Fire, the most powerful battle ability, because it basically just doubles the firepower of your units, making them twice as good at no extra cost. If we have that and the enemy don't, then you pretty much automatically win any battle where both sides are mostly line infantry. Now there's an enemy army nearby, and I could smell an Iwakuni situation here where they're just moving away and I can't catch up. The other thing I need to do is get down to key fields. That's going to be like 10 turns of movement, and it's about to be winter, so I was very annoyed at the prospect of having to actually go and finish them off. Because if we don't go over there, they probably will build a full stack very slowly down there and then come up to surprise us later, so we have to do something about it. Plus, public order's an issue. This place has the whole allegiance to crime thing going on because there are smugglers' hideouts. So we need to leave a lot of units behind as well to deal with that. But then I realised something. I realised there's a way for us to potentially get out of the key fields thing, because the Wakayama clan have actually been taken down by the Green clan to the north. They've lost a lot of their territory during the time I spent very slowly invading them. They had 9 or something when I first arrived. We've taken 2, and now they only have 2 left. That means if we go and take the castle that's actually on the road network, then key fields could be vassalized and I might not have to go down there. So with that in mind, I put together everything I could with public order still being stable, and I was able to get a free stack to start moving in that direction. The rebellion we just killed did come back, by the way, so it looks like we're in for the classic infinite rebellion situation like we used to have back in Nagasaki. I'll eventually bring over an agent to deal with this, but for now, we can just get experience on these troops, I guess. Annoying though, because they're so far from the action, I'm realistically not going to use them, so they'll just get experience, then get fired once the propaganda guy comes in to sort it out. Now, in winter, we hit the Wakayama castle. It is heavily defended though, as we can see, so no easy thing. And I didn't want to make the siege attack because it could be difficult, so I thought I'll just sit here even though it is winter and see if they sally. And they didn't, so we're back here in the next turn, and we're going to have to either retreat or make the attack, and I decided to make the attack and see what we can do. We do have 4 units of snipers and some light artillery, so potential for a nice technical attack. I have actually already done this, and it turns into a real gigantic but actually slightly interesting technical attack. So I'll talk about that next time. A little bit shorter than usual on this one, but I am ill, so you got to cut me a break. I'll see you for part 6, where I might sound normal again, but I wouldn't get your hopes up.